You know how, uh, I forget. Uh, oh yeah, you know how like at the dawn of cinema when they was experimenting with the early movies. You can look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. They do like they do like they put a still camera in front of a stage play. You know what I'm saying? It's just a still camera in front of a stage play, and then like gradually they sort of honk around and make narrative movies, silent films. Rudolph Valentino and them all over the world. They were getting the great gist of what. And then very suddenly, like they go to cut and paste reality where you move in timelines, go back in time, go indoors, outdoors, see things moving simultaneously. What happened was Cubism's influence, the fourth dimensional stuff, which is what brings you to the hybrid zania of the current deep media leapfrog all of the world takeover plan of the royalists and the money bags. So I'll teach you a little bit about how it really go. Like 86, the fundamentalist tripartite, we were in the AIDS scare. 84, they killed Pap and Zodiac indelible his obituary and sucker me into confiding Joni Mitchell, who was feedback looping right back to Reagan's with Clint Eastwood, Nono, and Gail Burstyn and the others in the script writing team. But I get lured to Mount Desert Island, and I figured out that they had a Venus flytrap operation going to illustrate their psychiatric corrections penal harm idea. Because, like all over the world, it's spooky. Because Wiener has this book album called Open Your Box. It's spooky because women want, but they have this uh, no tests allowed in North Korea, very chaste value system. TV stands for tight virgin. And they call it in the name of national security, women must be protected by chastity. That's why FEMA with the invisible LE, female, right? FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. And they're playing these kooky barnyard bush games like D-Barn, no. And see, there's stuff I didn't know. I told Michael Sosa after they tagged me in the facial nerve, that I had neuroplastic amnesia, gummed up stuff, but I look back to DeBarno and Zasinski, Ronnie Kaufman, start seeing the name index, like Reagan and Weinberger. So I flip out and head off to Seattle, which was stupid, believing their promise for protection from abuse. What a stupid mother. They lured me right into the pit of horse manure behind the whole thing. Green Party sign for Cornell West spinner beanies. They play the back and forth on the race lines just to sort of pleasure principle, entertain the bloodthirsty. And then they lie. Oh, it didn't go that way. What a lie! So I get into the books of I hear enough about honorary the white rock star. I'm honorary the black man. These royal class rock stars being honorary the black man because they got some hooligan laid. They get some hooligan laid. But Camilla fell in her fourth, and I was like, oh no, this is the Swansky crowd. And I go back. Turns out Woodstock was the situation at the birth of fascism. No kidding. The sex crazed denuncio. And these people were promoting chastity. Get it? You're not supposed to notice the contradiction. Contradiction. Oh, that's my spinner meanie emotion. It gets windy, boy. Ooh. But the Wismatsky crowd was a super story. I know. When I was in staring into space doing the film project from 2001, 2013, 14, I found the film project Super Story Semiotics in International Cinema. You'll find it too. It's in all kinds of stuff. It's in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. It's in Arch of Triumph. It's in Man from Uncle. It's in Kung Fu. It's in all sorts of stuff. Bonanza has it. It's about the rescue of Hitler, the escape of. They think he's dead. They say it so many times in those memoirs that gets ridiculous. Two versions supposed to be about Hitler's escape. Two versions supposed to be about JFK's death as punishment for Hiroshima and Lenin's Houdini. Those are the four main form which they call Casper when they synthesize the twofold of Hitler, the friendly ghost. Okay, so um, Super Story Semiotics are two versions, Pussy Ball. It's in all of them. JFK's death for Hiroshima, rescue of Hitler and Lenin's Houdini. Okay, so now where does this idea come from? I'm wondering. So Wismansky had this dude, Diaghilev, who was working with D'Annunzio and Gurdjieff and Prokofiev and Picasso, and Sergei Eisenstein was doing with Walt Disney, right? And Alan Dulles was meeting with Hitler, and the money bags were going back and forth. And Errol Flynn was in these movies with Hitler Reagan, and it's all encrypted. Like he says, Goings train, that's almost good enough for me. So nobody's going to get it, right? Only Hitler is good enough for Reagan. Get it? It's right in the movie, right? So they get Errol Flynn who made in Laurel Canyon with Houdini, right? And Zappa, of course, Zappa was in on the whole thing. He's the one who said, told her it would blame the CIA, blame the CIA, blame the CIA. So, everybody thought, oh, the JFK stuff was a UFO document. It really was a UFO document. It really was. Cliff Robertson starred in the premiere episode of The Outer Limits. We now take control of your TV set, remember? Which was delayed for Kennedy's state funeral. He starred as Kennedy in PT 109. Talk about a poacher guild. He went above the World Trade Center on 911 to watch in a private plane. No joke. I mean, this was a namesake of Diaghilev who was in immunogenetics and Satanism in the 70s. Called me. I mean, she still has influence in this crowd here in Tacoma watching me and poking at me. Dia called me to announce that, you're going to be famous someday the way Gail Burson does. That Lennon was stepped out, so to speak, and they have me in D.C. with the FEMA attorneys of Hitler Reagan. He comes out and waves to me. And they give me this brochure, no such thing as objective reality, only with the jury release. Then they sit around and say, come on, you can't possibly believe that. And they normalize the whole thing, They're following me with pitmen, which is like quarrymen and hitmen. From the mind of was that lion, lizard, Leo, Zyler, no, Scargill or something. Real scary types. Real scary types, right? They come on pitmen and hitmen. So we deal with psychologically. Like America needs a psychology, wink, wink, piss, piss. on our politics of peacemaking diplomacy if we ever get a Kennedy back in the office. Well, what you got to look at is the bitterness of the blame, because it's contagious. It went from Nazi Germany. We were all problems with the adolescents of post-Nazi Germany, with the idea of blaming their parents for the crooked horrors of the concentration camps. Unbelievable horrors. Not worth, not worth a minute of explanation. Just horrors, pure crime, pure crime. They had these sneaks like Bela Lugosi doing RCA innuendos behind the scenes for the Ouspensky crowd's Casper mission. The escape of Hitler is sickening. But the bitterness of the blame comes up when, like the Green Berets film, weirdest movie ever made. Weird movie. Opens with a Marine singing in German. So you got these disgruntled Nam people, oh, they're saying war is bad. Oh, they're saying the movie Avenge Me, Red Dawn was bad. Oh my God. Get out your pitchforks. Get out your torches. Chase those Kennedy Frankensteins. So you need a psychology that addresses the bitterness of the blame without making them look all sanitized. Like Captain Kirkland, he goes up into outer space after kicking our grannies out, right? There were a whole bunch of wise owls from Star Trek. Melvin Belly was Goring's widow's attorney. He was on the yacht, Weasley's yacht. And he beams down from Star Trek with George Takei to represent Jack Ruby, who had the same psychiatrist as Manson and Haight Asbury. So Manson, it's just a misspell of the Masons. So Diaghilev and D'Annunzio were in this Woodstock situation called Fayum. And they inspired Benito Mussolini, who was another ladies' man. Oh no, son, ask the Vatican. He's pure of mind. So they get this thing going about the pure of mind, and they have this woodwork family. Moon Unit Zap is going to come out and creep you out and poison you in the mouth. Well, the whole point is that these people were murderers, the poachers, and they're consumed with symbolism. Like they come out, and the Woodward family comes out and grabs one when they feel that the percolator, they have a Swami Nostra from Tamo de Jong that hold hands, the Grangian society that hold hands, and oh, what does the collective need in terms of feed for the bloodthirst? It comes from Bela Lugosi's influence on Ouspensky and Cecil B. DeMille. These deep media theater people in Axis Hollywood, which is right here in Tacoma, and right here Clint Eastwood. They give me Parkinson's for giving me the finger. That's how sick in the mind they are. That's how sick in the mind they are. They kidnap me, torture me, and use me for sex, and then they say that I'm a degenerate. That's how fulsome and stink they are. That they would do that to a child, and they get away with it because it's a white. Too much long. What we need is a white. The Swami knows plants an arc of colors while trampling on a deaf white sock. They left a Wagner card here in Tacoma from 1974 in a religion of Soviet Union. But, and so D'Annunzio was an altar boy of Kirill, and Kim, sacred Kim Sherman Alexei, basketball team protects the chaste. There is a certain uh, honor code surrounding um, logical, gracious progression towards marriage. And certainly admirable. But to say that these people represent it in some kind of hillbilly folk lord to self-deception. I mean, these people are child molesters. Yeah, so what you have to do is stop creating disease in the name of your jealousy. They say that I was jealous. I let the girl go. They said I was jealous crazy. Look, they put out these things about broken science and there not being enough. In other words, we're here to hunt virgins and get the foods and use the food weapon to capture the virgins. And this is what Pitt calls the nature of reality. It's the sacred hymn of the Fernhollow Bridge Gang. Showman books, the guys stealing the books and selling for the money, stealing cars, hot wiring little boys. Use the food weapon to capture the virgins. And this is their whole mentality. And they think it's the educational secret of the Western world. They really do. That's really what's going on. It's behind these poisons that they're doing. And they have a revolving door between Hollywood and reality. You can see it in the killers. It exactly mirrors what they pulled in Dealey Plaza. It's like, so how they talk about special interest being a revolving door between Congress and private industry. Same thing, same sort of deal. Congress and private industry. Snuff filmology and Hollywood, you know, um, Manson cinema. And this is what Reagan and Angela D were up to in The Killers. So when you go back in Pittsburgh, it was obviously Hammer film that was, you got to do film Anthro, Bergman, and Corman and people like that. But Hammer knew Myron, Chiono, and Myron was sort of a partner of Sean Straub, who went for Lennon and Chapman to give Hollywood testimony at the scene of the disappearing act, the Houdini that they pulled with Trumpet Tune Media. It's because everybody says, no, that's not what happened. Do your anthropology about the evidence. Yeah, that is what happened. And so they have me up on Zell Island, right, with the Venus flytrap. And Peter Gabriel sends me a brochure bath with Archer Management written on it, right? That's John Archer was in Goldsboro with a U. Working at the Jackson Museums, which they torch, in their Experience Park Wonderland. Oh, Disney torches. Real, that's real. No, that's not real, son. No, son. Who would believe that? Come on. Come on. You don't believe that. Surely you don't believe that. Come on. And Carbonell has this twisted tape. Yes, yes, I report you the case, straight from the mind of Brecker. It's a medieval tabula rasa. These people were studying medieval ribald humor back in the Enlightenment, right? When Rabelais was a friend of Erasmus, and they impinge, that's their word, on the persona. They draw pepper on the brain, as Claude Brown would say, pepper on the brain. And they say, and Mullen, the voice of Mullen says, tied her up and poured her with a carrot, right? And they give it to a multinational trans conference named Carbonell, whose partner Milne used to say, I'll file that. See her walking lightly? He and the person who said this stuff to me in the background of him when I was a child hostage had that record of Richard Harris. So you have this syncopated patterning of the Bronstein elite telling who McCartney was giving instructions to. And they were connecting it up, as Bronstein put it. You're all connected up, he said. So they have in this garage behind the bus, and the Italian job. So they're doing and pepper on the brain for rising Frankenstein. So you have the situation where they study the child mind rather than teach. They create the paradox of development. Bosom of seven beauty type girl who's 12 gets a traumatized 13-year-old boy who's prepubescent, and she lets him have it. And they say, ha 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 ha, they jump down home pee the barno, and they say, we're going to get the girl of your dreams now. And this is their whole hillbilly roster of American think tank stuff, from the Bush crowd. It's all from the Bush crowd. And it goes back in time to 1917, Blythe Sanders and those guys. And they have me in this place called Leslie Park with an Sauk labor gang called Artec, right? Which is like Aztec sacrificialism. Jonas Salk and Louis Kahn funded those things. And the Indian Parliament, and they set up a showman Indian Israeli service. It's just working for the good guy. She seduced me. So when I stand called, she insisted on it. She told me she had a roommate who was away. I assumed there was another girl. And this sort of homegirl stuff happens all the time in Pittsburgh. So, but they're saying, oh, it's your bachelor because Angela D wants comments, and they start stamping. Yeah, they get these white KKK parochial freak people talking about injecting people, saying, we love brothers to Black Panthers. They're going to get you for this. On my daddy's obituary, the German Green Party, and Seattle can't see the pattern. Seattle can't see the pattern. They think it's a race war. They can't see that it's a syndicate of Swami Nostra symbols. They say they lick each up. They say, what is the bloodthirsty throng long for in their coven of darkness? The sacred Ouspensky meditation must know. And then they go out and zap one right between the eyes, zap, like they did JFK. So, and Widget and McCartney have all kinds of secret tapes that they saw them beats for Showman and the Woodward family. So, and they talk about it as a spiritual miracle. Mm-hmm. It's a spiritual miracle. And the spiritual miracle is the global international cubist Ouspensky cut and paste of reality. They had a woman named T. Simon. And then they come up with a guy named T. Simon Ferrasani. Ferrasani means she hasn't never been, a weasel has never ripped her flesh. Sanitorum, the Santis, Sanata, sanitation workers strike when they did Kenyan, correlated to Didi. TV stands for tight virgins, right? So they have this and he's nonviolent. He believes in nonviolence. He will never believe in nonviolence. Cannot change the world. Well, they're like, prove it, brother. We'll inject you. Show us some nonviolence. And this is the ghastly concept of government at UW Dialectical. And it's important to remember when you say it was UFO document stuff, it was a UFO document. Cliff Robertson starred in the premiere episode of The Outer Limits, which was delayed for Kennedy State funeral. We now take control of your TV sets, and it leads to the liaison of data. So, you have to understand that these Diaghilev in that scene comes down to Duke Edwards productions with Weasler. Don't worry, Adolf, we're going to help you escape. They have pictures, films of Hitler the day that he supposedly died, and he's never looked happy. He was patting little German boys on the cheeks, smiling like a getaway artist, waiting for Hannah Reich's secret plan to get him get his lookalike out while he runs to the tunnels. They had it all figured out. When J. Edgar Hoover was in on it, John McCloy, They had it all set up for biblical. Hmm We're gonna get some biblical. Hmm and it's an invisible arm from um, you know the medieval era and stuff. And they come up with a name index like Michal Lubin and Lubricka. And they say I was obsessed with Virginia. I knew what it was. And they say, well, we'll prove it by pizza shop delivering a lovey. And all my life I had believed in these assholes. I had believed in them. So I fall in love with a girl. I thought maybe for once it was going to be romantic. It was going to be. I didn't know she was a virgin. What the fuck is all this stuff? They were psychopathic about virginity. Obsessed. And they were libertines. I mean, they were screwing everybody. It's pathetic how ridiculous the psychology of Seattle is. And the Fernhollow Bridge King in Pittsburgh calls it the nature of reality. Can you get it? Can you believe that? The nature of reality. It's really something else.